Dark Souls, the critically acclaimed series that has killed millions of players around the world. Developed by FromSoft, this action role-playing series has given players a sense of pride and accomplishment long before P&A required microtransactions. The series would popularize the idea of very difficult yet fair and rewarding gameplay. It teaches players to learn from their mistakes. If you die once, you can recover everything you lost. But if you die a second time, you lose everything. It created an entire genre of game, Souls-like, that has been the inspiration for many, including Nioh and Star Wars Fallen Order. This series has been so successful, it's even led to board games and comic books. Atop this heap of accomplishment lies Dark Souls 2, only recently surpassed as the top game in the series by the Demon's Souls remake for the PS5. Dark Souls 2 would go on to sell 2.5 million copies and be awarded the Game of the Year at the 2014 Golden Joystick Awards. It would be released as the Scholar of the First Sins edition, including 3 solid DLC and stellar improved graphics for the PS4. With all these accolades under its belt, here's why Dark Souls 2 sucks. A good tutorial has 2 key components. 1. It has to teach the player about the game. And 2. It has to be fun. A great tutorial is able to take these 2 components and tie them into the lore of the game. The original Dark Souls has a great tutorial. It teaches the player all the various mechanics of the game through lore-friendly messages culminating in a massive boss fight, giving players that sense of P&A almost immediately and establishing a trend for the rest of the game. Dark Souls 2 tries to change the formula of its predecessors, and it's just not successful at setting up the rest of the game. The first time I went through the area, I felt like I was walking through a dream. It just felt so disjointed and disconnected from the rest of the game. Sure enough, after some research, I found theories on things betwixt being an in-between worlds, and it felt like a cop-out. The only saving grace for this area is the fact that you can walk right by it. Sure, it teaches the players how to attack and dodge and all the basics, but it never shows off the true difficulty of what's to come. The player will cut down each enemy without breaking a sweat. This doesn't do the game or the series justice. A good tutorial teaches you the game. A great tutorial manages to tie that into the lore. Dark Souls 2 does neither. Dark Souls 2 has some beautiful areas. Majula, the Tower of Hyde, the Shrine of Amara, but it has trouble creating a natural flow, making the levels feel more like paintings in Mario 64 than a cohesive world. Going through the sewers of the small town of Majula brings you to the sunken city of Hyde? Why through the sewers? Why can't I see any of the other areas that are interconnected? Imagine looking out from the Tower of Hyde and seeing the large cave housing a ghost ship as Dead Man's Wharf, or the towering Iron Keep peeking over the mountains of Majula. It just makes it feel like a PS1 or N64 game with distinct levels. There's absolutely no continuity between the areas. Dead Man's Wharf is an excellent area with dark shadows lurking around every corner, almost requiring a torch to make it through. The large floating ghost ship in the distance and a small fishing village climbing the cliffs really illustrates how even the smallest, most isolated village can fall prey to the undead curse. However, the area is located significantly below sea level if the previous location, the sunken city of Hyde, is any indication. Why isn't this area completely underwater or enclosed in rock? The areas do not flow into one another. They feel like levels and really break the immersion of world building when the level flow is this disjointed. A gank boss is when you have to fight multiple enemies or bosses at once, an idea that often succeeds in increasing difficulty but also frustration. The original Dark Souls had 5 of these bosses and created one of the most famed and successful gank bosses in gaming history with Ornstein and Smough. FromSoft attempted to recapture this lightning in a bottle by introducing 13 different gank bosses in Dark Souls 2. The name of the game was Quantity Over Quality. The game pumps out boss after boss, lessening that sense of P&A that drives the series. Just look at these bosses. There's 2 separate rat gank bosses, the second of which I didn't even notice I was in a boss fight until it was almost over. The Prowling Magus in Congregation is just a regular mob with a health bar. The Twin Dragon Riders is literally just an earlier boss, but now there's two. I didn't feel any sense of accomplishment beating these bosses, I just wanted to get them over with to move on with the game. The Belfry Gargoyles has 6 of them, and if you're not quick enough, they all start to spawn in and you're stuck fighting 3 or more at the same time. Skeleton Lords are another mob battle. The Throne Watcher and Defender are fine in theory, except they feel unnecessary as the first battle in a triple boss run. I do actually enjoy the Ruin Sentinels, but it is very easy to get overcome by such an early game boss. And the DLC isn't any better. In the Crown of the Ivory King DLC, you fight one king's pet, and after trudging through one of the worst sections in the game, you fight 2 more at the same time. The Crown of the Sunken King isn't any better, rewarding another shit tier level design with a triple gank boss, the D&D crew. All you gotta do to beat them is run in a circle and take pot shots at the archer. I was even able to navigate the menu during the fight. Where's my P&A? Gank bosses are extremely difficult to make feel fun and fair. Most of the bosses on this list fail in both accounts. You want a good gank boss? Go fight Ornstein and Smo. Don't call Dark Souls 2. I have mixed feelings about the DLC. On the one hand, it has some of the most beautiful levels and some of the coolest boss battles. On the other hand, each crown has an absolute bullshit level designed to challenge the player and failing. And don't even get me started on actually finding the DLC. I had to use a walkthrough to find 2 of them, and you have to find an obtusely located item that opens up a secret area in the game. One is located in the giant pit in the middle of Majula behind a locked door. By the time you've found the key, you've probably already forgotten about the door. The other is located by jumping off one of the first areas of the game into a fiery pit of salamanders that are likely to kill you if you don't manage to heal from the fall first. I know FromSoft likes to hide their DLC with the intention of finding it during a new Game Plus, but these just feel extreme. And now the real kicker. FromSoft made a main section for each DLC, but they also added in a challenge hallway. I was able to complete just one of these, and honestly, I only tried the others a handful of times because they just weren't fun. In each area, you have to run through a hallway and fight a boatload of enemies, and you better play perfectly because otherwise you're just wasting your Estus flasks. At the end of the bonfireless hallway is the boss, usually one of the more challenging bosses in the game. One of them is a fucking reskinned smelter demon. You literally travel through one of the hardest and least fun areas of the game to fight a fucking reskin. Every time you die to the boss, you have to trek through 10 minutes of enemies, trying not to take too much damage, just for another chance to fight the boss that could very well kill you within 15 seconds. FromSoft really missed the mark on what makes the difficulty of Dark Souls fun in these challenge areas. Dark Souls 2 has its share of god-awful levels. Hell, Dark Souls 1 had some pretty terrible levels, but Dark Souls 2 just takes the cake. It feels like they took the same idea they had with the bosses and decided quantity over quality. Let's start with Black Gulch. Take a deep cavern and make it really dark and really green. Then add surprise attack worms, a couple NPC summons, a secret bonfire that is almost impossible to find without prior knowledge, and an even more difficult to find secret area with 2 giants ready to crush your shit. And just for good measure, let's add 2,000 fucking poison spitting fucks to really fuck with the players. I don't even have words for this level outside of fuck. And then there's the Shrine of Amara. At least it's pretty to look at. In this area, you have mages perfectly spaced that there's always one of these fucks firing magic missiles at your ass, which wouldn't be so bad in itself if you could see the goddamn ground. You're in ankle-deep water that slows you the fuck down with holes in the ground that you can't see unless you're looking at your feet. But then you get blasted by more magic missiles knocking you into the fucking holes anyway. And I don't even have words for the frigid outskirts. Just take a look at this view. Oh wait, you can't. It's a fucking snowstorm. You have to run from shelter to shelter to take cover during the storm, and if you don't, you have these fucking electric reindeers on your ass ready to beat your shit in. And to top the whole area off, you have to fight another fucking gank boss at the end. I only tried a handful of times because FromSoft really missed a key ingredient in this level. Fun. You've got a shit tutorial. Some of the most disjointed levels I've seen since Banjo-Kazooie. A metric fuck ton of gank bosses, god-awful challenge hallways, and some real-ass-tastic level designs. Put all those together and what do you get? Dark Souls 2. This game is absolute trash, a solid 4 out of 10. Buy this game and give it to some monkeys because they know how to throw feces. How this game made it to the top of the Dark Souls pile, I will never know. I'd rather watch Dora the Explorer than play this crap again. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed me trashing beloved video games, don't forget to subscribe for all the newest trash, and leave some ideas for future games in the comments.